The following is a community access program. Shaw is proud to support local producers and share local voices, ideas, and opinions. For more information, please visit shawtv.ca. Opinions expressed in this programming do not necessarily reflect the views of Shaw or its employees.
So, next question is from Joe Bob in Manitoba. This is cute. Hello, Joe Bob. I imagine that's your real name, but that's okay. We've always said you don't have to use your real name here. And thanks, sir, for, just joining in for a minute. My career may be changing in the future. 2 to 3 years from now, depending on different things. Still doesn't feel like I have found my thing. Is there any area I should be considering? Well, seems to me that no matter what you touch, you seem to succeed at, okay? So even though you're not loving it, at least we know that what you're doing well in the meantime. As I was handwriting this out yesterday, I couldn't help but already get some feelings on this. And one of the things that's actually coming up is, again, I sound like a broken record, but it does feel like maybe you should go back to university in those 2 or 3 years. And it does feel like either mortgage just lighten up or are completely gone by that time. And it's certainly never too late to go back to school. And it is showing 2 different things that came up already yesterday. So one of the things that came up was actually nutrition. And I'm not talking about going to school to become a cook. I'm talking about, oh, look at that. It just confirmed for us that you should make a decision to go back to school, because here's the peace and harmony, and that uneasy feeling you've kind of been having because we're not in that role that we should be. You'll find by going back to school that will actually, that steady agitation that comes up sometimes, or that restlessness, that's a better word, restlessness that comes up sometimes, you'll find it subsiding, okay, partly because you'll be tired, but partly because you'll be going where you should be going. And it is showing by making a decision to go back to school, it's quite an inner strength that would be good. But it does seem that you do get a little frustrated sometimes in the field that you're in, okay? That field that you're in, by the way, if you wanted to take some classes in that to add to what you're already doing, I do tend to think that you may enjoy that position a little bit more. However, it still doesn't feel like it's quite right, okay? But what it is showing here too is you have a unique way of telling people kind of what they need to hear. But you do so with a bit of sarcasm, and you do so, but at the same time with a bit of a caring. So that kind of shows that you could help people with their anger. So when I say counseling, I'm not necessarily meaning that little kid that, is maybe neglected, or that person that maybe just has a diagnosis that they need and then medication for. I'm talking about those people with maybe eating disorders, maybe anorexia, those types of things. And if we couple that with what we said initially, you taking some nutritional classes, it does feel to me that you can be a benefit by becoming a dietitian in 2 ways. One, specifically with young ladies who have eating disorders. Okay, and yet I don't feel you've ever really had one, but yet it seems you can identify with them somehow. The other thing too is for certain illnesses, excuse me, I have to take a little bit of a drink. For certain illnesses, you can actually specialize with those kind of diets as well, whether it's MS, fibromyalgia, or perhaps even heart disease, okay? So I do tend to think that this is something that you should have a peek at. That's one of the things. The other thing you should have a look at is working for yourself. But again, it means going back to school, and it's funny because we were just talking finances. And I think I mentioned that in the car as I was writing it out. This person should be in finances, not a bank, but in actual personal financial management, okay? You're extremely good at budgeting, and it seems like you've had to budget your whole life. But it also does seem that you know how to see a value in the dollar without making it your whole life. And that makes a good financial planner. So I don't want to see you working in a bank, but you could be somebody that I would go to, for instance, for watching my money grow a little bit quicker than what it is, for instance, okay? So those are the two avenues I would prefer to see you go into, either nutrition, as in dietitian, and along with counseling when it comes to managing either disease or an eating disorder. Or the other thing that's showing here is it's kind of in the family genes that you're good with money, okay? So I would actually look in the next 6 months or so. There may even be some courses that are economical enough now that you don't have to wait 2 or 3 years to take them. So Miss Joe Bob, and I only know it's a miss because I do happen to have the real name on the email address, which I don't share. Okay, people are worried sometimes that I will sell your email addresses. No, I don't. They stay with me. Okay, Ms. Joe Bob in Manitoba, I do thank you for your question. Please let us know. Send us an email back maybe and let us know how that works out, okay, or if those are anything that you'd perhaps be interested in. Okay, so I'm going to go on here, and that's it for the questions for today. The next thing I'd like to talk about real quick is our soul. A lot of people wonder about reincarnation. A lot of people wonder about why we run into the same wall over and over again. Well, I say bits and pieces of this on every single show, so let's just do the whole thing now instead of a bit and a piece. Okay, so here's my soul. Here is the puzzle that is my soul. Everything I learn, I get a puzzle piece for. So if I learn to hate a tick, okay, I've learned hate. If I learn to love that person who drives me absolutely crazy, say, you know, people who don't do for themselves or people who won't try, because they're scared of failure. I have a very hard time with that, but I have to learn to deal with that without judgment, okay? So that's another puzzle piece. We have to learn love, we have to learn hate, we have to learn compassion, which then, what's the yin of that? That then would be non-compassion. So those are all our soul puzzle pieces. Now, if I live to be 90, I couldn't possibly learn every single piece in one lifetime, which means we come back. And the things that we didn't learn in this lifetime, we have to learn those next lifetime, or the time after that, or even the time after that. So, problem with that though becomes, let's say, I don't know, what's an example of a trait, okay? Let's say I'm a cold fish, okay? Never show love, never hug anybody, okay? Next lifetime, chances are I'm going to have a much harder time getting anybody to even think of loving me because I'm going to be harsher next lifetime. You have to, puzzle pieces mean we have to look at ourselves on the negative puzzle pieces, because we can't have the negative without the positive. It's yin and it's yang. We cannot do it, okay? So every time we learn it, a new puzzle piece, it's in place. We don't have to learn that next lifetime. We have to live it, but we don't have to learn it, okay? I'll tell you, one of the hardest things to learn is actually forgiveness. And it usually doesn't come down to forgiveness on other people. It comes down to you not seeing that part of yourself that created your part of that situation of needing to forgive someone or needing forgiveness in the first place. And to look at ourselves to say, what did I do wrong in that situation, is very difficult. But that's a puzzle piece. And once we do that, then we can live with, you know, ourselves a little more confidently. So when I say a piece of the puzzle, that's kind of what I'm meaning, okay? So I'm being given this. I'm kind of glad I have that, or I'd be a little bit lost. So how do you want to be a part of the show? And you should be a part of the show. It's not so bad, okay? One question, you can email it, we can phone you like we did with Kelly today, or you can come and sit right here and we could go ahead and ask a question right on the air. And how do you do that? You do so by contacting me at my email, cardreadsbyannie@gmail.com. However, we always want to see the show grow as well. So if you have any comments or suggestions for the show, by all means, send it to the same email, okay? So in the meantime, on behalf of All That Is and everybody here, Oliver and myself, we wish you a great afternoon, and in love and light, we'll see you next time.
The proceeding was a community access program. Shaw is proud to support local producers and share local voices, ideas, and opinions. For more information, please visit shawtv.ca. Opinions expressed in this programming do not necessarily reflect the views of Shaw or its employees.